Hello and welcome to Rando Rob. Each week on Rando Rob, I'll be showing and discussing one item from my large collection of collections. New shows appear every Monday, and throughout the week, I'll be adding older episodes of Rando Rob that were previously only available to my Patreon subscribers. You can watch episodes of Rando Rob on YouTube at youtube.com/Rob O'Hara. Just look for the Rando Rob playlist. Audio versions of the show are available on my website at podcast.robohara.com or through iTunes. Just search for Rando Rob. Thanks for watching or listening, and I hope you enjoy this vintage episode of Rando Rob. Hello, and welcome to an extra special episode of Rando Rob. I am out in the workshop today. I've been doing some cleaning and straightening. Cleaning and straightening is kind of a ongoing part of my life. It seems like putting things into containers, looking for things in containers, taking things out of containers, moving containers around is just a permanent part of my life. It seems like that'll be part of the rest of my life. When you are a collector at the level that I am, there just seems to be no end in sight. There seems to be no end in acquiring things, of sorting things, of cataloging things, of not getting rid of things. So every part of, I don't want to say every part of my life, but like the workshop, like my office, like my areas, there is just kind of this never-ending cycle of putting things on display, taking things out of display, moving things. It just never seems to end. So one of the things I was doing earlier was going through a couple of the shelves back here. In my life, I tend to see blank open walls as places to put shelves, and then I fill those shelves, and then when I run out of shelf space, I don't think about what on those shelves can I get rid of. I think, hey, where can I put more shelves? So as you can see on here in the workshop, the whole corner over here is shelves. There's shelves over there. There's shelves over there. There's shelves in that corner. So I have lots and lots of shelves. But it's funny. I know that there was that Asian woman, I can't think of her name, that was all about cleaning and sorting and minimalism and all that. I keep wanting to say Marie Curie. That's not right. But she had some advice on keeping things, getting rid of things, stuff like that. And one of her pieces of advice, well, there was a couple things. I think there's her version of it, and then there's the Americanized version of it. And her version of the rule was, if you own something and it does not bring you happiness, then you should get rid of it. If it doesn't have a use and it doesn't bring you happiness, get rid of it. The American version of that I've always heard is that if you haven't used an item in X amount of time, you should get rid of it. Now, I have a friend who lives very strictly by that rule, and the X in his life is 1 year. He says if he has not touched an item in 1 year, and that could be an item of clothing, that could be a souvenir, a memento to remember a vacation, that could be a tool, whatever it is. If he hasn't used that item in 1 year, he gets rid of it. Now, I don't really know how that applies to like things on the wall or things on display. But he told me one time, And this is a friend who has moved multiple times from he has mostly lived in apartments. He spent most of his adult life living in apartments, and he's moved to several apartments. And he says, if I haven't used something in a year, I toss it out, whether it's a piece of silverware or a kitchen appliance or anything. He tosses out things that he hasn't used in a year. That being said, the things I'm about to show you are 39 years old. And I just found them because I found a box over on these shelves. It was a box that was labeled Star Wars. And it got put in the wrong place when we moved. It got put out here. It should have never been out here. It should have gone in with the other Star Wars stuff to have been sorted. So it's just been lingering out here for October. This would be is this 3 years at this house or 4 years at this house? I think it's 3 years. 3 years that we've been here now. So it's just been sitting on a shelf for 3 years. Not being looked, just sitting. So in his world, I should have thrown away this box. In my world, I got this item right here. These there are 4 items when I was 10 years old. And I still have them. I still have them. By the way, I am shooting today's Rando Rob on my cell phone, on my iPhone. And for working on, I figured I was going to be doing more van life videos. So I've been experimenting with different microphones. Now I have enough, I've upgraded enough parts of my podcasting life that I have the old Blue Yeti that I used to use. I have a spare HD video camera, like a webcam, and I have the laptop that I use, and so I could come out here and do complete recordings, but it doesn't seem very mobile, setting up a laptop and setting up, it seems very Gen X-ish, which isn't necessarily bad. I am self-conscious about doing things the old way, and I know that there are many parts of my life that I do that I haven't adopted new ways. My daughter recently told me about a band, and she mentioned it to me. I don't remember what it was, but I was like, I'm gonna find this band, and so I went on YouTube to try to find the band, and I couldn't find any songs from this band, and so I went to the news groups where I used to download MP3s, and I couldn't find any MP3s, and I found it on I found a couple of their songs on Bandcamp, but I couldn't download them, and I did a couple other things, and so I even looked on the Pirate Bay. I couldn't find any of their stuff, so I kind of looked like all the places I knew to get MP3s, whether to buy it or just download it. I couldn't find them, and so I mentioned to her a couple days later. I was like, "Yeah, look for that band," and she goes, "They're on Spotify. Just listen to it on Spotify." And I was like, "Yeah, that solution was not in my toolbox, and it should be." But I'm always self-conscious about that, because in my world, there are, the other tubs are over there, but I do have one tub in here that is full of all my old CDs. And so if I'm out here working in the workshop, I have all my MP3s. I have thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of MP3s stored on my home server. And with my phone, I could connect to my server at the house, and I can stream music over Bluetooth, and I have a home stereo thing set up over here with Bluetooth. And so that's the way I listen to music. I listen to my MP3s, and I listen to that, or I listen to podcasts a lot when I'm out here. And I stream it through that system, But I would never think about just going to Spotify and what's funny is I tried to adopt streaming. Boy, I got off on a tangent here, but I tried to adopt streaming, and I got on Pandora, and I kind of learned Pandora, and I set up some playlists, and I kind of enjoyed it. And then everybody was like, "Oh my God, Pandora is old. You got to get on Spotify." And what's funny is Pandora is by far the newest thing. that I adopted. You know, I was so proud of myself that I got Pandora, and then everybody was like, nope, that's old, you got to go to Spotify. And so I feel like that's one part of getting older is losing. It's not really the ability. Part of it is the ability. I should say that. It's hard to admit. Part of it's the ability. But more than that is it's the interest of wanting to adopt the newest thing. I'm pretty okay with listening to the MP3s that I own. That does make it where you don't discover new music, but I kind of quit enjoying new music a while ago, so it's not a big issue for me. So anyway, I kind of went down a rabbit hole, but back to videos. It seemed like dragging around a laptop and a USB microphone and a webcam was kind of an old school way of thinking to shoot videos. And I have shot videos on my phone. I do shoot videos on my phone. But I've had a problem with sound. And so I bought a Bluetooth lapel mic, a lavalier, and it doesn't work great. The sound's not very good. And I don't love it. So I went back on Amazon and I found a lavalier mic that connects right to, it has the Apple Lightning adapter on the other end. And there were different lengths of cord to buy. And there was one that was like 3 foot. And I said, that doesn't seem very long at all. And then one was 6 foot. And I thought, that's okay, but I mean, you can't get very far away from your phone. And then the one that was recommended was 10 foot, and I was about to buy that, and for $1 more, you could get it 20 foot. And I go, well, that makes the most sense. So I bought the 20-foot cable. I'm gonna tell you right here, there's my phone. I mean, my phone is 2.5 feet away from my face. So there's a 2 foot of cable and 18 feet of cable wadded up in a pile right here that it's just going to live its eternal life in a giant knot. That's all it's ever going to be. But I thought, if I ever want to shoot a video and I'm walking around the room, I could put my camera in one place and I could walk around. Of course, I have to secure the camera because there's a very high probability that I will pull the camera off the tripod when I walk away with this cord. So I don't know. I may have to come up with another solution, but for right now, this is you know, the fun thing about Amazon is that you could try solutions. If they don't work, you can mail them back, or you could do what I do and I throw them in a drawer because I think, yeah, someday I'll use that giant long cable. So here we are. Anyway, let's get to this week's Rando Rob. When I was in, let's see, when would this have been? This was later than I think it probably should have been. I think, oh wow. I didn't realize that was on there. That's interesting. I don't remember how old I was when I got these. Now, I was born in 1973. Return of the Jedi came out in 1983. But I started 7th grade in 1985. And I kind of think I got these for the school year in 1985. I don't really remember if I had them before that. But what I do remember is that it was a grade where you had to have a different folder for every class. And so that's why I think it might have been 7th grade when all of a sudden you had a different teacher for every class. It might have been before that, but I feel like for some reason it was 7th grade. So it would have been 2 years after Return of the Jedi came out. I don't think Star Wars was that popular by the time I got to 7th grade. You know, that was, like I said, it came out in the summer between 4th and 5th grade for me. So, you know, 2 years later, it definitely would have cooled by then. But anyway, what I have, and I do have very specific memory about one of these, and we're going to talk about the folders, and we're going to talk about something that's in them. So the first one here, these are school folders. I'm going to show you this one. This is obviously Jabba the Hutt. with Salacious Crumb, and they are the same on both sides. So all the folders are different so that I would knew which ones were for which class. This one, I should talk about this one last. This one is Jabba the Hutt's band. There is Cy Snoodles, Droopy McCool, and Max Rebo, the Max Rebo band. Again, that's the same on both sides. That's number 2. Here we have C-3PO with Wicket the Ewok. Now, I'm not a fan of Ewoks. I know some people in later years said how much they liked Ewoks and that they were, I don't know. Some people like them, the teddy bear aspect or whatever. I didn't hate them like a lot of people, but not a huge fan. But anyway, we've got this set here. There's 3. This is number 4. This Darth Vader and Luke fighting with the Emperor there in the background. This is the major battle at the end of Return of the Jedi. And I'm going to show this one. Obviously, now this one is the most worn. If you can see, like if you look at the top, and this one's really worn. But that's because this one is my favorite of the 5. The speeder bikes, in fact, this folder has almost completely come apart. The spine part is separated. Now, a couple of things here. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to talk about. I'm going to get one. First of all, let me show this one again, just because this is my favorite. I do remember in 7th grade getting a piece of paper and laying it over this and tracing these guys and learning how to draw speeder bikes. I used to love drawing the speeder bike and learning how to draw from looking at this. So that folder was definitely my favorite, which is why it's the most worn. So let's take a look at something interesting I just saw here. Maybe I missaw it. We'll take a look here. So when you open up these folders, the first thing you'll see is my name, which says Robbie O'Hara. So it wasn't until I believe 9th grade when I decided I wanted to go by Rob instead of Robbie. I thought Robbie just sounded like a little kid's name. And my mom and I had a long discussion about different names I could go by. I may have talked about this, but there was a kid that lived on my street named Robert, and so I did not want to be Robert. And my mom said, some people name, because my legal name is Robert, and some people would say, or she said, some people whose name is Robert go by Bob, and I thought, Bob? Why would I go by Bob? That's not my name. And the name Robin was floated around, and which again I thought, that's not really my name. That's like someone else's name, Robin. And also there was a girl that lived on my street who used to babysit us, whose name was Robin. So there was no way I was going to be Robin. So Rob seemed like the most logical choice. So I started telling everybody my name was Rob. So this folder predates that. That would have been 9th grade. And so this is before that. But I really feel like in 7th grade you had to have a different folder for every class, which is why I would have got so many different folders. The other thing that I think is really cool about this is actually, you know what this says? No, this does say copyright 1983. I was going to see if it was later. These came from Target, and the price tag on these is right there. And you can see these folders were 49 cents each from Target. So each one of these folders cost 39 cents. Now why I kind of made a weird face a minute ago was because I thought the first one I looked at, I thought it said 39 cents. But they must all be 49 cents. Now, there's a couple of things that I thought was really interesting. So I showed you the speeder bike one, I showed you that the Darth Vader one, and the Max Rebo one. On some of them my name's up here, and some of it's down here for some reason. I don't know why we did that, but also the folders on the other side have this little weekly schedule for your class schedule here, which I never filled out for anything. I don't know why you would have that. Okay, so that's the first 3. So on this one, the C-3PO one, inside here, at some point, I guess I decided I didn't want to lose these. And so what I've stuffed inside here are all my old, probably not all of them, but at the time, all the ones I had left, all the old manuals that I had for Star Wars toys. So here is the instruction manual that came with the Slave 1 Boba Fett's ship. Here is the Imperial Attack Base. These are in surprisingly good condition. I mean, they're not folded up. They're not, well, that one's a little folded up. Here's the Twin Pod Cloud Car. Again, this is the Rebel Transport. This is a thick one. This is my dad used to call this the pickle ship. Here we have the Hoth Turret Probot playset. Again, each one of these would show you, I'll show you one here. And this is the instructions for the AT-AT. Now what these would do, first of all, you had your warranty card. If anything was missing, you could fill out this information. You could mail this in and get a replacement piece. These will show you where to put all the labels, all the little stickers when you're applying it. It will show you how to assemble, like here's the assembly for the laser cannons. Those are all built in. This is double-sided, so you have all of this, and you have all of this. Now, these were super, super collectible and important for me to hang on to, and I do love them. I love them very much when I was younger, but of course now all of these things have been scanned in and preserved and are all over the internet. So they're not, if you wanted to read one or see one, they're not particularly rare, but these are all from actual toys that I got when I was a kid. And finally, this one is, I don't know if it's rare. I guess it probably is kind of rare. But there was the troop transport, if you will. Now, if you don't remember what the troop transport looked like, it looked like this little thing. And the troop transport was the first toy that Kenner made of a Star Wars ship that was not in Star Wars. This was a originally designed ship because, let's face it, they were going to run out of things to make. Like, you could only make the Millennium Falcon and the X-Wing and a TIE fighter, and I mean, after a while you run out of ships, right? And so they came up with the idea of coming up with an original ship, and that ship was the Imperial Troop Transport here, which was this little thing. So this was a comic that came with it that kind of, it tells you when this thing was used in the movie. And so this is when they were on Tatooine and the stormtroopers had arrived and they were in search of the droids. And so it's like, well, they had to go get in this Imperial Troop Transport. And then you know that the Sandcrawler was eventually destroyed by the Jawas. And here you can see the Imperial Troop Transport. That's the guns that are on the top of it. And they're shooting the Sandcrawler. And then here it is. They're blowing up the Sandcrawler at the end. And this is Darth Vader telling him to go after him. So this is super cool. I love this thing. I've always loved this. So those I tucked away, and they are safely stored in this folder. Now, in this other folder, the Jabba the Hutt one, the first one that I picked up here, this contains my original issues of Bantha Tracks. Now, Bantha Tracks was the Star Wars fan club newsletter. Again, these have all been scanned in over time and have been preserved. It looks like I have numbers 19, 20, and 21. So this is number 19. It says February 1983. Number 20 is May 1983, and then the last one is August 1983. So Return of the Jedi came out in May of 1983. So this is one before that, the month of that, and the one after that. So the you can see right here, like this one says interview. There's a big interview there. You've got a guy doing Max Rebo. You have Bantha Tracks presents the 1983. This is the best of Star Wars. There's Return of the Jedi one sheets that you can order. Here's a little thing for Indiana Jones. All kinds of stuff that would be in here. Message from the director. It says, this is a short thing, it says, on May 7th, Lucasfilm employees and their families attended a company screening of Return of the Jedi. After the final credits, the spontaneous response of the audience was to give George Lucas a standing ovation. Although George often reminds us that it is our movie, it is his vision that makes it possible. For this vision, we are grateful. The Force is with us always. Signed, Maureen Garrett, Fan Club Director, Lucasfilm Limited. And then it shows the people in line there at the premiere screening for employees of Return of the Jedi. This one has a big interview with Dennis Muren, who I have talked about before. Dennis Muren is known for doing special effects, not just for Star Wars, but for lots of movies. Here you can see a picture of Dennis Muren working with a speeder bike there. Interesting that on the front of this one, they featured B-Wing fighters. See, this is a big thing about the newsletter, is that they want to push new stuff, right? Because, you're a Star Wars fan and you get this and you're like, a B-Wing fighter, what's that? And that's going to get you hyped up, for the new toy. The interview in this one is Stuart Freeborn, and here's a picture of him sculpting the original Yoda puppet. And here's more things that you can order, one sheets. And let me show you this, because this is part of movie history. I'm sure most people have heard this. And then people say, nah, it wasn't available, this, that. Again, this is the official newsletter. I had this. I could have ordered this, but I didn't. But here are one sheets that you can order, and there, right there, it says Revenge of the Jedi. And you could order a cast and crew patch right there that also says Revenge of the Jedi. And so, fans of the newsletter, you could have ordered that right there, and you could be a very rich person by selling your Revenge of the Jedi collectibles. So, we will put those back in the folder. We will close the folder up. Before we wrap this one up, I want to get my favorite folder out one last time and look at this thing. I mean, this thing got some use, man. And I remember we had a teacher where we had to we had to carry stuff every day, and I switched the folders around so that this folder would be for that class, so that I could use this folder the most, because I love this one so much. I mean, by the time I was in 7th grade, the one with the Ewoks, not so popular. The one with a Max Rebo and Sice Noodles, not so popular. But this one was definitely a favorite. I wish I could order new ones of these, and I would use them. I would use them at work or do something like that. So anyway, I thought it would be fun while I was out here just to do a Rando Rob, on location Rando Rob out here in the workshop. So thanks everybody for hanging around, and like I said, we everything should be back on track starting this week. See you guys soon. This is the last shot of me going in to stop the video. Whoop.